evening, everyone. Yes. Good. 1747. Honey?
Good evening. This meeting will call to order. Could you stand, please? Where is? Could you stand, please? Mr. Gamble, could you lead us in prayer? You won't come in right with me.
Good evening, everyone. Let us begin with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, dear Lord, for bringing us all here safely. We ask you, dear Lord, that everything that is said and done here today will bring honor and glory to your name. We ask, dear Father, that it will be done in order. You are a God of order. And we ask that everything, dear Lord, will bring honor. We love you, we praise you, and we ask, Lord, that anyone who's coming, bring them safely. And we give you all the praise and all the glory. At the end of it, Lord, you deserve the glory and you deserve the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
All right, let me welcome you all to this meeting. I especially want to welcome our Shalom Minister responsible for housing, Senator Ricardo Harrison. Ricky, could you just say and see who you are? Members, this evening we have 4 guest speakers, so we're going to run into one another. When somebody's finished and you have questions, hold them till everybody is finished to do their presentation, so that we will get through quick. Our first speaker this evening is Dr. Felicia St.JOHN, who is a lecturer at university, 3rd Vice President of the DLP, and is the Shadow Minister for Education. Dr. St.JOHN will now address us.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, comrades. I think this podium is a little too high for me, but I will try to do the justice to it. I know that I feel welcome to be here. Thank you. I think this is the first time I will be in St. John speaking. St. John has a very special place in my heart because I live at least 5 minutes from here, and I have always been in the neighborhood as well as the clinic in the community. So I want to say thank you for always taking care of me when I'm in the constituency of St. John. This evening, brothers and sisters, we will touch on a lot of issues that have been affecting not us as individuals, but also the country and our communities. But what is very important also is that I want you to take very close attention to what is happening within your constituency, which is within your homes, and of course within our lives. Brothers and sisters, for a very long time we have been asking you to support us and encourage us, be there for us. Why? Because we know that the end is very near for some of us. The very near for some of them, and as we can see, some fruits are falling off the tree. Brothers and sisters, I'm just going to read a very short quote for you so that you understand where we're going with this. It says, the error or the era of procrastination, of half measures, of soothing and baffling expeditions, of delays is coming to its close. In its place we are entering a period of consequences. Brothers and sisters, that era of procrastination is the time that we have spent working hard in those constituencies, working hard as one of the best parties in Barbados. Brothers and sisters, our history speaks for itself. Up to this day, they cannot account for what we have done and what we will continue to do, even without a subvention. Brothers and sisters, that era of procrastination is what has been happening with this government. Because every time we hold them to task, you know what they tell us? We come in to do it. What's about the roads? We come in to do it. What's about the schools? We come in. What's about food and food feeding programs in school? We come in. We come in, we come in, we come in. But as we've said, as Winston Churchill said, it is coming to a close. And this is what we're experiencing at this point. The era of consequences. Brothers and sisters, I want you to pay close attention to what is happening within our society. We're seeing an increase in homelessness. We're seeing an increase in persons feeling hopelessness. These are the consequences of poor and maladministration of this current mere motley administration. Brothers and sisters, I want us to think very deeply, and I also want you, at the end of the day, to recognize that each one of us today, whether we're here presently and those online, we have a responsibility to save this country. We have a responsibility to be the truth bearers of this country. It was quite interesting today. I was listening to the program on Brax Tax, I think it's called on VOB, that they dealt with women in politics. Women in politics. And one of those from the government, this current administration, spoke about integrity. Integrity. For years, we've been asking our members, we've been asking Barbadians to play a very close eye as to what is happening with this government. The issues of moral responsibility is not a term that is well caught up or well known for that administration. When we speak of integrity, what do you mean? Do you mean integrity of the individual? Do we have selective integrity? That when it works for you, then we all have to be have some element of integrity? We have seen all various aspects of a society, from housing. We see what is happening down in Poole. And we talk about integrity. We saw what happened at the school. No, we in St. John, I'm coming to them. But we speak about integrity. We speak about accountability. Brothers and sisters, it's if as this administration is punishing the people of St. John, and by all, the people of Barbados. They're very vindictive in their approach, because you cannot tell me that the allocation or the budget allocation for education is probably one of the highest. We're talking about 60 million plus, 6 million here, 5 million there. Yet still we are hearing about teacher shortages in schools. Yet still we are hearing that students cannot stay in school because of environmental problems. St. John, you have led the charge. We're seeing parents are standing up. So when the Minister of Education chooses to speak, and advocate that or pretend to advocate on the rights of children and parents, take a look at what is happening in those schools. Take a look at what is happening to your children. Brothers and sisters, I know that you understand when you wake up in the morning, you get your children ready to school. You ensure that they have their meals for school. For some of us, those that take them for lunch. You ensure that they have their assignments are done, their homework, that they are clean, and that they have prayed before they leave the house, only to be returned back when they arrive at school. Where is the integrity of the ministers of education? Because now we do not only have one, we have two. We have two. And have we seen any level of consistency or accountability from that ministry? Every single week, children are being sent back home. How do you think parents have to cope and deal with that? Because parents still have to go to school, they have to go to work. Parents still have to go to work. But these members of this administration do not consider the cries of citizens. They do not consider the cries of citizens. They do not consider the cries of parents. And most importantly, they do not consider the cries of our children. Our children that deserve the education that our forefather ensured that every single Barbadian child has access to a quality education. And that also means that we need to have teachers in the classrooms. If we do not have teachers in the classroom, who's going to teach them? Who's going to teach them? Themselves? Because if that is the case, they might as well stay home. These are the serious concerns that we need to highlight. But as I said, we are entering the period of consequences of poor management of our state resources, poor management of our taxpayers' monies. Because that money or those money, where is it going? If you're getting all those millions every year that is allocated to you, where is it going? $500 million. Where is it going? To the point that children cannot get teachers in schools. To the point that children are still we're having late meals at the school feeding program. These are the issues to the point that a child has to remain in a school that has environmental problems and concerns. Is that the integrity that we're speaking of? Brothers and sisters, integrity speaks about your character. It is not something abstract that when you go to church on a Sunday, when the priest tells you have to be a good person, you have to practice the virtues, and integrity happens to be one of them. Integrity also thinks about your behavior, how you conduct yourself, and most importantly, how do you serve the people that voted for you? Why do you abandon them at this stage? Brothers and sisters, we have to remember we are entering the phase of consequences, and what that means is that we have to prepare ourselves. Every single one of us need to start preparing ourselves. The fruit is falling off the tree. The fruits are falling off the rotten tree. There's a reason for that. Because we're understanding that it's only so long that you can continue to violate the rights of your citizens, to ignore the cries of the people. Because we know what they say. The voices of the people is what? The voice of God. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And if you violate the rights of people, you violate the rights of the people that belong to God, the children of God. what do you think is going to happen? The fruits are starting to fall off the tree. Some will find good ground. Some will continue to rotten. That's what happens. Brothers and sisters, we need to also remember, even when we speak about the education system, we speak about the issues of educational reform. And I heard on the program today, they're in glory again, speaking all those wonderful terms, educational reform. Yet still every week, our children cannot be in class and feel comfortable to learn the instructions that will guide them to become better citizens within our society. If we as a society cannot take care of our most vulnerable, which means our children as well, we cannot educate them the way we ought to, then what does that say about us as the leaders within our society? It is very important. A few years ago, we spoke about the issues of high school dropouts. We're very quick to condemn our young persons because there's nothing for them to do. Bad behavior. We see it on social media. Just recently, we had a young student being stabbed on school premises. And we speak about the leadership. We need the guidance for our young persons. And if we are not spending the money where it ought to be spent, our children are the ones who will suffer the consequences. These are the consequences of us not employing the integrity that we say that we have, allocating funds for PR office, rather than ensure that our children get the teachers, our children receive the resources within the schools that they need. Brothers and sisters, we need to understand that the research shows that teacher shortages and absenteeism affects child's learning. Every time that a child misses school, they miss part of the curriculum. I am a teacher, so I understand what it means. We have to ensure that we provide the guidance. And we have people that we elected. Some of them were not elected. I don't know how they end up where they are. That do not care about the development of the minds of our children. That do not care about the physical component and the safety of our children. Brothers and sisters, we know what to do with those individuals when election day comes. Because let me tell you, those that were not elected are still represented by a particular party. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, what God is doing, we have to continue to have faith. We must continue to remain strong and resolute in our faith. Because we know at the end of the day, the Democratic Labour Party has always been the party of the people. He has always been. We have always been the party of the people. Whether we have resources or not, whether we're in government or not, whether we're in the opposition inside of parliament or not, we have always stood on the grounds to represent the best interest of our people. So let them know, don't be misguided. Don't be misunderstood. We know our role in this society. We know what we ought to do. We've been doing it, whether we're in government or not. So do not tell us what we ought to do because your party is now in disarray. We are going to mind our business, and our business is the business of the people. We will not be distracted because we know what we're required to do. We will remain resolute and ensure that every single day we will ensure that we stand up on the rights of people. So the Cybercrime Act they're trying to pass, the Child Protection Act they're trying to pass, every bill that this government, as I told you before, this government is not a government we should ever trust. You know why? Because God is allowing us to see them now. And those who couldn't see before, they're seeing them now. And what is very fascinating about the entire situation, even those that are amongst them are now seeing for themselves. But as I said before, brothers and sisters, we have to be there to support them. Because we know not everyone will see the truth. We have to guide them. We have to tell them. We have to continuously speak to them and let them know that the veil of ignorance is being removed. We are seeing exactly who they are. The incompetence, every single ministry. And I put this challenge to them. Tell me one ministry or one minister that is doing the job that they say they've been doing. One. Education. Checks and works. Sorry. Transportation and works. I don't want nothing in my tail. Right? Nothing in here. Empowerment. Which ministry that have been advocating on the rights and doing their job and serving the people? Brothers and sisters, I will again remind you that the mission continues. You have a responsibility as a member of the Democratic Labour Party. You carry yourself the way that we have always carried ourselves, being respectful, have a sense of dignity, and treat everyone with a sense of equality. Because no person is better than another. We are all brothers and sisters. All brothers and sisters. So I'd like the Minister of Education to do your job. We cannot have our students going home or being on the streets when they're supposed to be in schools. Give the teachers the resources that they need. Ensure that you hire the teachers that are required to be in the classrooms, because that's where teachers ought to be, to help our students and to ensure that our students do not take the roads that will lead them in ways that we do not want them to go. So brothers and sisters, I'm urging you, every past member and current member of the Democratic Labour Party, or anyone who wants to join us in this fight, get your boots ready. God have given us a sign. We're seeing the fruits are dropping off the rotten tree. Get ourselves together. Continue to advocate. Continue to educate. Provide the support for teachers. Provide the support for our students, because they really need it. They desperately need it. And I feel very disheartened for the parents, because I know what it's like when you send your children to school and then there's no school, and then you have to find places for them. You have to find someone to care for them. And those provisions are not even made. So sometimes you send your child to school and 10, 11 o'clock you have to go back and collect your child. Why? Because the ministers of education have not considered how the kinds of decisions that they make, how it affects the lives of our citizens, children, parents, and the community as a whole. Nothing hurts my heart more than after 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I see school children with their school uniforms out there. To me, a child's supposed to be in school. A child's supposed to be in school. And if we cannot even do that for them, what are we doing? Why are we here? We have the money, but we're placing the money in all different places that should not be there. Right. And then at the end of the day, no one can account for where that money is being spent. Huh? Where that money is going. Where is that money going? But before citizens speak, we want to send things in detail. Let me make you understand something. And I will make this very briefly. My brothers and sisters, as a citizen, you have a right to question any politician. Any politician. You have the right to question any of those ministers and do not allow them to intimidate you. And we're not saying that you should be disrespectful or anything, but you ask the questions because it is your money that they're taking to do as they please. So let them know when they threaten you or come to the public as if you're intimidated by them. Let them know that the Democratic Labour Party is standing behind you. Yeah? Let them know. Let them know. And if you can't find us to stand with you, you know where we are. Call us. We will stand right there with you. Because they may try to intimidate some, but they can't intimidate all. They can't intimidate all. So let them know that when we stand on principle, we stand firm. We're not rotten fruits. We don't fall off anywhere. We stand firm on our beliefs and convictions, and our principle is that we advocate and champion on the rights of all citizens because we believe in justice for all. So the next time they feel they can come in the public space and try to intimidate any citizen, just remind them that we stand with the Democratic Labour Party and we stand with God. So come. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you. Members, since we last started, 3 other Shadow Cabinet members have arrived. Mr. Walter Maloney. Walter. Who is second Vice President and he shadowed Labor and Agriculture. Ms. Melissa Savory. Who is shadowing Gender Affairs. And Ms. Katrina Goodrich. We now move on to our second speaker, Ms. Ahoy Gilden-Bourne, who is an attorney at law and a community activist, a potential candidate for Simcoe Christchurch East, and she will now address us.
Thank you, Mr. Coppin. Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you this evening. I'm going to speak very briefly, and I'm going to get straight to the point. The current administration has become complacent in their governance of this great nation. And as a result, Barbadians are feeling the pain. The Democratic Labour Party is here to do the work of the people. I am here to do the work of the people. And if it means calling out the government on their inefficiency and their misadministration of their many ministries, then so be it. Our Vice President has eloquently and succinctly told us, and I agree, that this is an era of consequences. We are being able to see. The light is becoming clear. The veil of ignorance is being lifted. Yes. The tables are turning. Yes. Bajans are asking questions. And they are being chastised for doing so, with no accountability or resolve for the rising issues that Barbadians raise on a daily basis. Whether it is water scarcity, the problem at QEH, accident emergency, the continuous environmental issues, Barbadians want to know what is going on. It is unfortunate that we find ourselves in uncertain times. Bajans are asking questions. They want answers. Now, we all heard the promises that they made in 2018 and 2022. We all heard those promises. In 2018, if we recall, they were telling us about the island's reservoirs are low. Man, we knew that already. We knew that already. Then they told us that they were going to implement a water augmentation program so that they could use desalination plants to get potable water to the most desperate areas. Yet, in 2024, Barbadians are frequently finding themselves without water. Without water. In 2024, it is ridiculous. 2 weeks ago, the residents of Christchurch and St. Philip were without water. This is from Kingsland, Christchurch, straight up to Harlington, St. Philip, and today too. And at that point, that was 3 days without water. 3 days you can't wash, 3 days you can't cook, 3 days you can't flush your toilet. And while I understand the government encouraging Barbadian citizens to get a household water management program, what is the government doing? Nothing. What are they doing to address the water scarcity issues in this country? A country that has been designated a water scarce society by the World Health Organization. Yet in 2024, we find ourselves frequently without water. But the residents of St. John know the truth. The residents of St. Joseph and St. Peter know the truth. Their taps are often dry. And while the current administration continues to borrow money, Barbadians are just merely thanked for their patience when the water is dry, the pipes are dry. They're thanks for their patience. Really? In 2024? And don't let's start with the water trucks, because the water was off for 3 days, and sometimes the trucks arrive when the water gets turned back on. And if you could imagine residents from Kingsland, Christchurch to St. Philip, Harlington, and you got 4 measly water trucks trying to service these people in these type of emergencies, what would happen? What would happen if a man was in Woodburn that burst and another one down Calendars burst and another one no hip? How are we going to manage what is being done to address the water scarcity in this country? This administration is doing a horrible job. A horrible job at addressing the water problems. Why are we not thinking about or implementing technologies, water harvesting technologies? Why are we not focused on getting the desalination plants that they promised us down in Ealing Park, Christchurch, and up 6 men, St. Peter constructed and fully operational? Now we hear that another pumping station is going to be offline tomorrow. So St. James, get your water. This is not acceptable. Barbadians deserve better. And with all the millions of dollars that is being spent and borrowed, all the taxpayers' money, where is this money going? We are not seeing it in the infrastructure. We are not seeing the results. Barbadians want to know. And they're very proud to remind us about accident emergency. Eh? Yeah. We built a new accident emergency, but I will add that new does not equate to functional. Barbadians are still having to wait, we are told, on average, 73 hours. An accident and emergency, really? That is unacceptable. After spending upward of 34 million plus, I lost count to tell you truth. What somebody is going to remind me. I know the commenters. Somebody will tell me. Enough money they spend. But where is it going? They certainly did not effectively use it to upgrade the accident and emergency department. We can all see that. We know they did not use it to purchase radiology, machinery, or equipment to facilitate healthcare treatment for cancer patients. Did they use it to buy beds? I digress. This administration, some of the young people would say, you only say the words, but I was going to say some young people would say the fedsing, the BSing. Barbadians deserve more. Our vice president said this is an era of consequences. Your actions, or lack of action, substantial action, has consequences. Remember, they said that they knew and they were going to address the continuous environmental health issues that is plaguing this country. Yet in 2024, we recently heard that we still haven't increased the cases of dengue fever. Dengue is a real issue in Barbados. And they are downplaying it. No, we have this rodent infestation. We had rodents in town for years out by the bus terminal. On the Richard Haynes Boardwalk, a supposed tourist destination. Rodent infestation. The communities around that area, St. Matthias, Rockley, those residents have been complaining with little resolve. And I heard my president mention about the incinerator. The incinerator at QEH was giving problems for the longest time. For the time I was a little lad. They was talking about this. Now we have the incinerator at GIA causing residents and students and teachers at St. Bartholomew's School problems. So much so, it was reported that teachers are having to have their thyroid removed. Did you hear me? They are having surgical procedures to remove their thyroid on account of prolonged smoke inhalation as a result of the GIA incinerator. Where's the part that they say that they was going to get 4 weeks, 5 weeks, a year, 2 years ago? Why are we still having problems with mold and mildew in our schools? It's procrastination at its highest height. It is ridiculous. The interruption for schools and students, the people that work in these government facilities, these government offices, even the police stations. How you could, as an attorney at law, go into a police station and the police telling you, you can't use the interview room because it got mold. It is environmentally unsafe. And the police are working there. And then when persons go to the police stations, they have to inhale those mold spores. St. Matthias Court. This is ridiculous. Barbadians are fed up. The writing is on the wall. We can see what is happening. Now, you remember they said they're going to fix the roads? Don't pelt them at me. Where were these roads fixed? Tell me. Where? And even if they say they fix the roads, the quality of the fixing is second grade. They fix the roads today, next week, they're in the horrible position again. It's foolishness. Where is the money being spent? It is not being spent effectively. And when I say that the quality of the road fixing is bad, that's not a hit upon the workers themselves. It is the administration that refused to provide the materials so that the requisite processes can be done so that we have roads that last more than a couple of weeks. So we have roads that can be driven on more than a couple of days. From the South Coast Highway 7 is a perfect example. From the airport right down to Rockley. Potholes next to potholes, next to potholes, next to potholes. And this is being said again and again. What you don't spend repairing your vehicle, or what you don't spend on road tax, you will spend repairing your vehicle and more. Tires, rims, you name it. It is ridiculous. Now, we heard recently the Minister of Energy and Business say that the cost of living has stabilized in Barbados. Who she mean? Which Barbados? This Barbados? They told us that they would decrease the cost of living. They did. 10 flying fish for $33, the president says. Yet every Barbadian is aware that the cost of living in Barbados is exponentially high. And I wonder where she get her analysis from. No, I don't like to profess big brains, but I think the Barbados Statistical Department may have something to say, because the data on their website shows an upward trajectory from 2018. All know that the cost of living going so. So I want to know what analysis, where she getting this data from. I want to know where she's shopping to. It is unfortunate that we find ourselves in uncertain times. When I go across the country and I speak to Barbadians from all walks of life, one thing sticks out to me. They are fearful for their future. They want to know what is the future of this great nation. Where is this future? Where is the future of this nation going? Especially if this misadministration on a national scale is allowed to continue, excuse me.
That's the word, misadministration.
Bajans are fed up. They are fed up, and rightfully so. And without much in the way of transparency and accountability, it would appear that this administration thinks that it can do what it pleases and ignore the complaints and demands of Barbadians who raise these issues on a daily basis. We now have social media and technology. We all see the comments. The administration is getting eaten up, and rightfully so. They are complacent. They have dropped the ball. Governance is their second job. Everything is a meeting, a press conference. It seems as though they're rallying. They're not governing. They are not guiding the country. No. I am not afraid to say that strides made in respect of climate change on the global and international stage are not important. They are. And I am not afraid to say that focus on Caribbean integration is not important. It's important. I hold Caribbean integration close to my heart. But I don't know if RPM did not get the memo. But your shit is sinking, Captain. These seas are rough. And your absence from Barbados during this time is glaring. Hold drums beat first. And the Democratic Labour Party is here to beat those drums. I go for now. Thank you.
Members,
You guys all know.
our next speaker is our Shadow Minister of Sports, Culture, and Youth, Ms. Tyra Throckmorton.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, family. I am beaming with pride right now. I am smiling from ear to ear because it is one thing that I have noticed. The women of the Democratic Party, you cannot. I am blessed and I am proud and I am honored to be among such wonderful and powerful and strong women. And it brings me great joy to see that we cannot be stifled, we cannot be muzzled, we cannot be humiliated. We are strong and we are ready to fight. And I've been saying this from day one. We are soldiers right now. There's a spiritual warfare going on right now. And we are coming to the front. And I am so powerful. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen Amoy speak or heard Amoy speak. I see Amoy in court often. I see her around, you know. We went to school together, we went to UWE together. But Amoy, I am so proud of you. You've done such a great job. Such a great job. Now, Ronnie called me last minute in true Ronnie style. And so, Tyra, I want you to say a few words this evening. And I was like, oh, Lord, what am I going to speak about? But as I came here to St. John Parish Church, for some reason, I was drawn to the church itself. And then I remembered who was buried there. And I went to the back, and I saw the gravesite of the Right Excellent Honorable Mr. David Thompson. And I was drawn there. And for some, you see, I'm a very spiritual person, but when I was drawn there, it struck me the reason why. Well, I got my message for this evening. And not only that, I said there is a difference between a boss and a leader. David Thompson was a leader. I do not know for the life of me what is going on with the country right now, but certainly we need a leader and we do not need a boss. Because the way how Madam PM is moving, she's moving like a boss, but not necessarily a leader. And that is why, as you heard, the ship is sinking. And something needs to be done. And I'm calling on you, Barbadians, the citizens of Barbados. You are the persons who have to hold these people accountable. You are the ones who gave them their power. You gave them their power by virtue of your vote. So you need to take it back. You need to take it back because they're not doing what they vowed to do. They're not doing a good job. In fact, they're not doing anything. Any job. As you heard, is their second job. We are crying out for them. Where is K? You've heard me mention it several times. We have, as you heard, schools closing down because of health issues. We have St. Matthias Court, which is one of the main familial courts in Barbados. It deals with maintenance, custody, access. We have them closed down for how long now? Now recently relocated to the High Court, and it's a mess because somebody can't find your files, so you can't get a date. We have the police service who's burdened. There are so many criminal activities happening, and still yet you're giving them more loads, more duties with the new cybercrime bill that Ronnie and I spoke about not too long ago, with the child protection bill, which Felicia and I spoke about not too long ago. So it seems this administration is in a habit of drafting bad bills and trying to rush them through Parliament to have them passed. And we don't know why. I mean, when we go on the website every day, you see a couple new ones. And you're like, where are these coming from? Yet still you have the administration saying, or at least they're led with saying, that they're administration of transparency. But it seems for some reason there is nothing transparent. Where they get them in this front row around? I ain't too sure. But we cannot see. Now, there's an issue I spoke about not too long ago with the Kensington Oval. And I'll address it because of my new role as the Shadow Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Not too long ago, we had a situation where we had the chairperson who's in charge of organizing the cricket, the T20 cricket match, which is scheduled to be here in June. We had him say that we borrowed $25 million to refurbish this facility. They talk about new lockers, they talk about a new state-of-the-art gym. They spoke about putting amenities in there to make the spectators more comfortable. They spoke about 3 new venues which would be used for training. And then, all of a sudden, not too long ago, they said, well, we need to borrow another extra $7 million. But nobody ain't no for it. Somebody get a cut. Well, I ain't want that in my tail. So I'm going to keep it to the script, right? My question is, where the money gone? And why do you need more money? What is the reason? I'm hearing some talks about LED lighting, but I can't remember LED lighting being so expensive. $7 million. You ever hear about lighting that costs $7 million? I heard about drop-in pitches. They said we're going to implement drop-in pitches because we don't only want Kensington Oval to be a place of sports, but we want to turn it into an entertainment hub. We want that when you finish playing cricket, you could drop the pitch, turn it into a football venue, but not also on a night time. We want to turn it into a place, well, they mentioned 2 stadiums. 2 state-of-the-art stadiums. Yes. So, like, what are you doing? We heard we had an independent senator ask for a business plan, or at least a budget, to try to highlight where you're allocating the funds which are being borrowed, how you're going to pay it back, what is the plan. And we had a certain senator say there's no need for a business plan. How you mean? Everybody in Barbados knows that when you go to apply for a loan from a bank, the first thing they ask you for is a business plan. Some sort of plan, how are you going to pay us back? And if it is that you cannot show how you're going to pay back, you don't get the money. So 2 questions are raised. How did you even get this grant or this loan without presenting the relevant documentation? And 2, how are you going to pay it back? Well, we know the taxpayers have to bear that burden, as we are still repaying the $200 million loan that they borrowed back in 2006 for the 2007 World Cup. We still pay back for that. So you want to further burden us? And then you have the audacity, as you heard today, to speak about the cost of living hasn't gone up very much. Where are you shopping? As my sister asked, where are you shopping? Because the majority of Barbadians are complaining about the cost of living. You have persons who cannot even afford to give their children breakfast when the morning comes. Because they cannot afford breakfast items. So you send school the children, unfortunately, it's not the parents' fault. You send them school hungry to learn on an empty stomach. And they have to rely on the school meals. But just the other day, the president and I, we went to a funeral. It was what, after 1, but 1:30 minutes to 2. And the school meals, bus, van, no strolling in. And me and the president look at each other and say, wait, there's lunch. That was collecting. So we asked ourselves, what is that is really happening? How can you say you care about Barbados, but you don't seem to care about the future of Barbados, which is the youth? How can you say that? Let's talk about sports. Sports is not only a hobby or a sporting activity. Let's think about it a little deeper. Who mainly plays sports? Yes, we have female athletes, but who mainly play sports? Men, young boys. When you take away those opportunities from them, what do you think happens? The other day, me and the president, we went to a cricket match in St. John, and we spoke to some of the members of the community, and we asked them, well, what are some of the issues you're experiencing right now? It was a cricket match. And they said, well, the funding, we don't get a lot of funding, we don't get a lot of support for these young athletes, and that's the issue we're having. We would love to have these matches more often, but the issue is the funding. Why is there not funding for these types of activities and events? As he correctly stated, when you have the young men on the field playing cricket, you're saving them from doing other things. If they were not here today, we do not know what they would be doing. We know we are losing the young people to crime. We know we are losing them to gangs and violence. We know we're losing them to suicides. And then because of the cyberbullying, as Carol would like you or have you to believe because she wants to implement the cybercrime bill, it is more than that. We're losing them to drugs and the overuse and abuse of drugs. And the issue is because a lot of them are depressed. And you will find that there's depression where there's suppression and oppression. And that's what's happening in Barbados right now. Barbadians, Bajans are being oppressed. Their voices are being suppressed. The other day, me and President, we sat down and we picked apart the cybercrime bill. And we didn't pick it apart because we ain't got nothing else to do with our evenings. We picked it apart because we want you, Barbados, to know what it is that is happening. We want you to have the information, the knowledge. We don't want you to be tricked or fooled because it seems that this administration, that's something they love to do. They like to trick you. They like to tell you things when you know in reality those things are not true because you got sense. When you open your eyes and you look around you, you can see what is happening. You don't live in the same Barbados that they're living. They and their fancy friends. We want to know where is the money going? Where the money gone? Why can't you not account to us when it is our money that you're spending? That is high-handedness. And it's downright disrespectful. True. And then when we ask questions, you want to stifle us and muzzle us with a cybercrime bill. Why? What are you hiding? Well, I'm here to tell you that the DLP, we are going to find out. And when we find out, we are going to bring it to the public. We are going to find the information that the Barbadians deserve, and we're going to feed them that information. And then we're going to tell you, don't just take it from us. You go and do your own research. Because we don't tell lies like the other administration. We don't tell lies. We speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And the truth makes people uncomfortable. But the truth is needed because when you have the truth, you have all the cards on the table and you know exactly how you're going to play them. So I'm here to tell you, and I'm so proud again of you, Amoy. I am standing with my sisters. I am standing with the president of this party, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, and I'm standing with all the shadow cabinet ministers. And we're standing together. We're standing united. We're standing strong because we have a common goal. We have a common objective. And that goal and objective is to make Barbados better again. And I am here to keep saying we are going to go back to the basics. The DLP, we don't care about things that look fancy. We want things that work, things that are necessary, things that are needed, things that go towards your basic human rights. Those are things we care about. And most importantly, we care about democracy. And that is what we're going to do. Bring democracy back into Barbados. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, our final speaker this afternoon is President Dr. Ronnie Yearwood.
I want to start by saying thank you to, I'm rolling up my sleeves because I guess things can get hot in here. And I want to start by saying and welcoming the members of the Shadow Cabinet. I want you to give them a big round of applause so the people on I am going to call them out by their names, and they can get them to stand up. I want the people online to understand what a massive crowd that we have here in St. John. I would like to welcome my comrade, my brother, my friend, Walter Maloney, our Shadow Minister for Labor and for Agriculture. Please give him a round of applause. I want to welcome my Shadow Minister, and that sounds so good saying that, my Shadow Minister. Soon we'll be saying my Minister. I want to welcome my Shadow Minister of Education, Ms. Felicia Dujon. Thank you. I want to welcome my Shadow Minister for Housing and Community Development, Mr. Ricky Harrison. I want to welcome my Shadow Minister for Gender Affairs, Ms. Melissa Savory-Gittins, who did a wonderful job today on Brassat. Thank you for your service. And she's also the head of our League of Women. And I want to welcome who will probably become one of my left hand, because the other one going to be the right. I want to welcome Ms. Karina Goodridge, Shadow Minister in my office. And I want to also say to Amoy, listen, I want to welcome you to the Democratic Labour Party family. I want to say tonight that we as a party have a powerhouse of competent women who can go toe-to-toe with any party in this country or any party in the world. I am so proud of this mix of women, younger women, older women. I am just so proud of the Democratic Labour Party at this phase and this juncture of our history. Often, and if you're honest, and I'm an honest person, I always speak to you directly, and frankly, it gets me in trouble sometimes, but I like trouble. Good trouble. We have been criticized for a lack or inclusion of women, wrongly so, because we know better. We've had Maisie, we've had Carmita, we've had Sybil, we had Gertrude, we had Irene. We can go down the line. Maxine, Undine, you name it. We've had women who have represented this country. The Democratic Labour Party's Women's League has been instrumental in framing much of the pivotal legislation that we now take for granted that protects the women of this country. And I will dare anyone to challenge this party on its record about women and the inclusion of women. And I would dare them today to challenge this party on the inclusion of women in this party and the pivotal place that women will play and are playing in my administration. It is no coincidence or it's no accident that I have appointed so many women to my shadow cabinet, because it is important that half of our population, they have representation at the highest levels of power in this country. So I want to thank them for their service to this party. I want to thank them for their service to this country. Now, there's a topic that has been on everybody's mind since yesterday, the WhatsApps, the messages flying all over the place. And there's been a lot of interest in the move by Christchurch South Member of Parliament, Mr. Ralph Thorne, crossing the floor to become the leader of opposition in Parliament. It would be almost remiss of me not to address the topic and address it directly to you, the members of the Democratic Labour Party, and to speak clearly, as I said, clearly and straightforward to you about that move, what it means. And, you know, if I'm honest, my thoughts on Mr. Thorne. I am a straightforward, straight-shooting person. And I will say I've had many opinions. My phone has been ringing off for the last couple of days. I never realized I was so popular. But let me tell you. And I've had many opinions, many views on this. And of course, this is something that will affect the political landscape of Barbados. You know, people will have different views, people will come from it from different angles. But at the end of the day, let me start by saying my job has always been to protect the interests of the Democratic Labour Party. That is job number one. Wrapped up in protecting the interests of the Democratic Labour Party, it is to advance the interests of the people of the Democratic Labour Party according to the Constitution of the Democratic Labour Party. So let me start there. Now, people have been asking me clearly, is Mr. Thorne coming to the Democratic Labour Party? Will we embrace him? Is he going to, well, I should say coming back. Come home, because he was a member of the Democratic Labour Party. And you know, sometimes people say, the barn run, you know where? You know when you left your mother and your father's house, and you know when they put you out, you left. So it would be a return home to the Democratic Labour Party, not a coming to the Democratic Labour Party. They're two very different things. So let us be very clear on that. And I would be clear on this because I have started my presidency on the fact that this party is a big tent. This party is open to all to join because that is the premise on which the Democratic Labour Party was built. When you could not find solace, when you could not find spaces in other places in Barbados, particularly the Barbados Labour Party, I can give a little history lesson. This party is where you came. This party is where women came, where artists came, where Indians came, black people, Chinese, because the other party was the white capitalist entrenched interest of Barbados. And this party has always represented the interests of Barbadians, and we will never close the door on any Barbadian who sees himself fit to serve, to want to serve. The Democratic Labour Party has a place for you at the table. We ain't getting a side chair, we ain't getting a small chair, we ain't putting you in the back. You are at the table. We will break bread, we will eat, and we will drink together as brothers and sisters and comrades because we care about this country and we will always, always do this country proud and put Barbados first. And this party will welcome any Barbadian, any person who shares the vision of the Democratic Labour Party, who shares the dream of a better Barbados, who shares the hopes of the people of this country, and who is willing, let me put this clear, who is willing to make the sacrifice necessary to serve the people of this country, because it is a sacrifice and you're not coming to Democratic Labour Party to enrich yourself or to build yourself a mansion on the backs of the people of this country. It will not happen under my leadership. It will not happen in the Democratic Labour Party. If you are looking to enrich yourself, go to the Barbados Labour Party. If you are looking to serve the people of this country, come to the Democratic Labour Party. And let that also be a warning to anyone thinking that there will be a candidate in the Democratic Labour Party and you are looking for something, because there ain't some things here. There's only work in the Democratic Labour Party, and there's only work on behalf of the people of this country. If you're looking for something, they got other groups out there, they got another party over there, go and get you some things over there. Checks and works over here, work and work over here. So they could deal with checks and works. We deal with work and work. Because that is what this party is about. This party is not about enriching. This party is about the people of this country. And that means in some ways, in many ways, Mr. Ralph Thorne will probably fit perfectly within the Democratic Labour Party, because in some ways he was probably always in the wrong party. Because he counts himself as a Christian man, and that is something that we can all share. I mean, he don't wear no crosses to prove our Christianity, because Christianity exists in your heart. You don't need to brandish a cross on your chest or on something to prove that you are a person, a woman, or a man of God. You are a man of God because you want to serve. You believe in charity. Today's lesson in church this morning, because I'll be honest, I didn't feel like going to church. Wife looked at me and she said, "Man, you try." I said, "Look, I'm tired." But as the priest says, some days you're tired, but you pull yourself together, and when you get there, you get the inspiration, you get the vision. It was about charity today. It was about service. You have to serve each other. This party is built on the principles of being your brother and your sister's keeper. This is about teamwork. When we ask you to serve in this party, what do? You serve. When we ask you to come to the table and do the work for the people of the Democratic Labour Party, what do? You come to the table and you do the work for the people through the Democratic Labour Party. When we ask you to pull up your socks, put on your shoes, put on your armor belt, put on your breastplate, whatever, you do it because you are doing it as a member of the Democratic Labour Party. And that is what will keep this party together. I will not mix my words. This is a party that is moving forward. This has to be about teamwork. If you want to work by yourself, go and work by yourself. If you want to be a part of this team, you are welcome to be a part of this team, because this party has important work to do on behalf of the people of this country, and we will not be derailed by nonsense and sidebars and this body coming and this body going, because when they coming and going, we still working on behalf of the people of this country. It's that simple, you know. People like to complicate politics. They like to think it's all grays and mystery and this and skullduggery and working in the corners and back talking this body and telling lies. But other than that, the only thing you got to do, and sometimes I say, "Man, Ronnie, but he's so naive. How are you going to survive?" But you know what? I survived this long, and I'm going to survive a little longer. And I did not get here through the lying on the skullduggery. And I will not begin to practice it either, because I will continue the way that I have started, because we have to rebuild this temple, and it will be rebuilt, and it will be rebuilt right. We have been given an opportunity, and I've said this before. I know some of y'all don't believe that 30-0 is an opportunity, but it is. It is a chance to start right and to do things good, and to build something that we can all be proud of again, and build something that is good in the sight of the Lord, because that is who we are building it for. You aren't building it for yourself. If you want to build for yourself, go and build for yourself. But when you are here, you are building for others. You are building for the people of this country, because it is for others, not self. And it was interesting, the first meeting of the year, that is the theme that we have adopted. It is for others, not self. That is what we're here to do. We have been given a chance to rebuild this temple. We have been given a chance after this temple has been routed. This temple has been trashed. And we will continue to do so in a way that will make people of this country proud. I know it's a long word. I know you talking, man, he talking things, man, he can't be, he ain't serious. So he can say so, but he can pass brown envelopes. He can write a check. No, because when I tell you ain't happening, ain't happening. And if I find out that any members of my team doing it, I can fire. But I already messing up. If I find out and I get, you're fired. And I can come and tell the people of Barbados, why I fired you? I'm hiding for you. Ain't I gonna make case closed? The case gonna now be open. Because I am not going to defend folly. I will not defend folly. When I say that we are standing on integrity, transparency, and accountability for the people of Barbados, and we will make things right, I mean it. We will make things right. We have to create a new Barbados. We have to break the cycle of corruption and the cycle of deceit that has taken this country. It has to be broken, and it has to start somewhere. Some group of citizens, meaning the Democratic Labour Party, we have to just say enough is enough and it is over. It is simple. And if we do not do that, we will not be able to break that cycle. It will be one thing after the other. We get end back up in the same circle of foolishness, the same corruption, the same opaqueness, the same people skulking around in corners, the same people getting $1 million contracts, the same people walking away with money, fixing fences and putting fences up in playing fields in Guard Hill, and the bond over the money gone. You can't invest in sports and community, but you're going to go and put a fence around every playing field in Barbados? Not only putting in fences, you are blocking people. It's a symbolic thing. I'm going to come back to the point, but let me digress, as Macaulay said, a little bit. Let me just veer off. There's a symbolism, and you are fencing open spaces that the people of this country have enjoyed for hundreds. Some of these pavilions in these communities, old. These playing fields are old. And you put in a fence, you are creating a barrier between the people and their communities. Because you ain't able to allocate money for sports and youth properly, and you budget coming out, and you think, oh Lord, what God do? You call up somebody, who getting the fencing contracts? Because that's real money. Think about how many playing fields and pavilions from Barbados. That is enough money. Fences and gates. Who you keeping out? Young people from kicking around a ball at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and playing a little cricket? That's who you're trying to keep out. Who are you keeping out? Anybody consider the health and safety standards? Suppose you people in there say happen. Who built these fences with the exit? These people just think. How are you creating these structures? And then you're going to look at me and tell me you care about people? I'm winning money. That's how you can spend money? Why you just want to buy some bats? Some balls, fix the playing fields, cut the grass in most of these places. Call it savanna grass as high as my waist. If you see the videos, you'll be shamed. These are the realities that Barbadians are facing. But, as I said, this party welcomes people who are able to look upon these issues and who care about the people of this country. And obviously, Mr. Thorne's sideways shift or movement, he obviously thought that he could no longer serve under his dear leader. We had Dr. Brown a few weeks ago resigned as well because she thought she could no longer serve under her dear leader. Who does resign from cabinet? Well, you know St. Cabinet real bad. Nobody don't left a minister job. Who does leave a minister job? If you're healthy and you're brave and you're... Who in the history of Barbados voluntarily does leave the minister job? Something would have to be so wrong for you to actually resign from your job as being a minister. Something would got to be... She's more than fed up. She resigned from this cabinet. And how many in the history, as I said, have willingly resigned from cabinet? She walked away from a cabinet job. Think about that. You walk away from a ministerial job that you fight everything to get. You don't get fired. They didn't threat you being fired. You left. You ain't sick. Nothing wrong with you. You just walk away. Now, Mr. Thorne has crossed the floor, and I can say from what I understand, Mr. Thorne, I've spoken to him before. That's a public, Barbados, we're all lawyers, we're colleagues, and he's obviously not my contemporary. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he is a man of certain integrity and principles, which you've heard over and over again. I would believe that the decision could not have been an easy one for him, and I am sure that the decision would have carefully involved his family, because he, like myself, he's a family man, and these things that you have to talk to your family about these entering politics and leaving politics and moving. It's always a family decision. anyone it is a family decision. So I am sure it was not an easy decision on his part. It is difficult to leave something that he would have spent so long in, he would have spent so much energy in, time building his reputation, working with his colleagues. I'm sure he likes many of his colleagues, or some of them, or maybe a few of them. And he would have spent time with the residents in Christchurch South. There seems to be some interlopers from their side who are trying to remove him from Christchurch South. But the people of Barbados would have known the valiant effort that he put up when he fought for the residents in St. Lawrence and Dover over the proposed marina. And I'm sure there's a point that he will come to the country, given the type of thoughtful man he is, and he will explain himself to the country. Like I explained myself on leaving the Barbados Labour Party, because it is clear when you understand that a party is not serving the interests of the people of Barbados, and when your Christian conscience and your Christian soul guides you, you are moved by that spirit. If you take the word seriously, you take your role as a servant leader, and you take your role as a servant of the people seriously, you would understand that there's some places that you cannot serve and some people you will not serve under or around because of the type of personality, and beyond personality, the type of administration and the type of politics that they practice. It is not good for the people of this country, full stop. We could dress it up, we could dress it down, we could use big words, small words. The reality is, Mayor Motley is not good for the people of Barbados. You know, and you would get the pundits, you would get the people talking and, oh, this thing, and, you know, climate change and republic, and trying to butt stick and all sorts of things. But when we break down what is happening in our country, we recognize that there is a basic lack of integrity, and we can continue to question where the money gone. We can get to the money thing. So I will wish Mr. Thorne well in whatever decision that he takes, because the Democratic Labour Party is a family of loving and caring people, and we would only want the best for him and his family, because that is the only thing that you can wish upon anyone. And I would hope that he will find not only the grace of God, but he will find a moment to reflect in all of this hurly-burly and phone calls I'm sure he's getting, so that he will hear the voice of God, and that he will be directed according to that voice. Because those of us who practice the Christian way of life, we understand that we listen to that voice and we are directed by that voice. Sometimes people will be like, Ronnie, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I say, you don't worry. And I know I just tell them, don't. My key phrase now for a lot of people around me is don't panic. Stay calm. It is fine. Because I understand it is fine. And I know it is fine. Even sometimes when you don't see that it is fine. Because if it is one thing that I hold to, it is my faith to help me to know that it is all good. Now, this government has had more dismissals of ministers and resignations and people not running back for seats and chairmen of boards leaving than any other prime minister of this country. If you think about the number of ministers that have changed ministries over the last 5 years. So the Minister of Education, we had 2 ministers. So you had Santia, you had Kay, now you got Kay and Sandra. Housing, we had 3. We had George Payne, we had William Dugade, we had Drake Sutherland, we had Charles Griffith. Foreign Affairs, you had Jerome, you had Kerry, you had Sandra. How many be going through Home Affairs, Edmund, Wilfred, Agriculture? You just had it in there, but that's probably a mistake. Tourism, we had Kerry, we had Lisa, we had Ian. Transport, you had William, Ian, Santia, Peter Phillips. Think about this. Hal, Jerome, Jeffrey, Ian, Sonia, Davison. How many more ministers do we have? Business, Dwight Sutherland, Carrie Simmons, Ronald Toppin, Lisa Cummins. Energy, Wilfred Abrams, Carrie Simmons, Lisa Cummins. Finance, you got Mia, you got Ryan, you got Marsha Kelly, you got Chad Blackman. Over and over and over. Changes. This is one of the most unstable, if you like, governments that we have ever faced. Never in this country have you had such a high level of turnover under any ministry. And you have to ask this question, why have we had so many people moving away from their cabinet ministries in this country? Why have we had so many people leaving the government in this country? Ralph Thorne is only the most recent in a long line. When you dig to the surface and understand how many board chairs have left quietly, how many people have stepped away from key projects, what happened with all these big projects? What happened with the business council? Anybody remember that? You had the business council, you had the industrial council. What happened with all these fancy councils? Where are the people? Nobody. People are stepping back. And perhaps no one can answer that question of why people are leaving. I'm going to play your clip because better than this man. And I hope y'all can hear it.
But my children and my grandchild, I want to live in a country where there's freedom of expression. I want to live in a country where no despot can feel that they should hold the destiny of my children and my grandchild in their hands. And that Mayor Molly is a menace. She's a menace because she's a despot. She's a menace because she's a despot, believes that she has a right to be a despot. She would try to be a despot with me. And I want to end by saying this. My parents sent me to school so that I should not be a boy in the yard for any despot in this country. And I will be true to them and true to my children by fighting this despotism that they.
So you could not want it better than that. And I would say I have nothing to add. Do not, my Democratic Labour Party people, do not be distracted by the self-implosion of the Barbados Labour Party government. Listen to me and listen to me good. Do not get caught up. Do not get excited. Do not get overexcited. Do not get underexcited. Sideways excited. No excitement, nothing. Do not get caught up in their mess and their infighting. Let them fight. Let them infight. Let them outfight. Let them side fight. Because they got old saying, when the elephants are fighting, the only people that just get trampled is the ants and the grass. So all of the little people and all the working class and poor people there who buying up newspapers, oh, Ralph gone, that's the end of mayor, or this thing, and that's the end of this body. And you know what? At the end of the day, let me tell you, let me put you straight. Them will get them salaries and then going home with their ministerial pensions. Your cost of living is still high. 10 flying fish cost $33. I went in, but in the supermarket that I went to, it cost $33. So I don't want to advertise for my supermarket at a $7 less. So no, that was fresh. That was fresh. It was $33 because I was in the supermarket this morning. I made a man literally stand up and start cursing. We just look at the chicken and start cursing. What you could do, literally a small chicken for about $30 and 10 flying fish for $33. I couldn't believe it. You know was one flying fish for $3? Well, you could eat a flying fish in one do, but I don't understand. That's $3 gone like that. So your flying fish, irrespective of what happened over the weekend, is still $33. Your chicken is still $30. your grocery bill and the 2 little bags that you're going to get either from Popular, Massey, Jordan's, Primark, Trimart, Cherish, it's going to still be $300. Your water bill going to still be about $200. Your light bill going to still be $300. Your bus fare ain't changed. The gas is going to still take you about $200 to fill your car. Nothing will change. So when I tell you, hold the faith and stand firm, brothers and sisters of the Democratic Labour Party, hold the faith and stand firm. Because the reality of your daily life ain't changing. All the excitement and all the people on TV and the pundits whose names I will never call on the Holland halls of any Democratic Labour Party meeting because they deserve no respect and never to be uttered in this place. All of them on TV talking. What changed for you? My floor bill is still near $200. I ain't got iChannels. But all of the realities, the cost of living in this country is still high. You got the front page where it was the Minister of Foreign Affairs and what's energy, trying to convince us that inflation is not going up. What are you talking about? You have got to be crazy. You obviously are not shopping in the places that we shop in. Or you food coming from somewhere else, because it could not be coming from the supermarket. It could not be coming from the places. You clothes coming from somewhere else. All the things that you got coming from somewhere else, because you are obviously living on a different planet, because you are definitely not living on planet Barbados, where we have to pay through our nose for every single thing. It is not made up. We were in St. John yesterday, me and the Shadow Cabinet team, and you're going to see more we all about the country. All of we going to be about the place. You ask for it, we are giving it to you. Because you know what? We just do this. We just listen with the ears and we just listen with the heart. Because you can listen with your heart, you know. We just listen from here and here. And we have heard you. You've said you want to see us in the communities. We understand it is tough. We have a duty, however, of care and service to the people of this country, and you will be seeing us. So when I talk about these issues, I talk about these issues on behalf of that fella that I see yesterday. Let me call him Terry. Can't use him by name, one boy get fired. Terry, who on a contract, and these men bright, don't let them boy fool you, these black men bright. We was talking economics, we was talking contracts. Man said, we're here on a casual contract, why can't I get the loans? Because I can't get to the bank with this. I want to build a little house, get my little 3 dogs, and live in a little comfort out here like anybody else. But how can it happen on these short-term contracts? So you employ men on short-term contracts for years and years, rolling. He employs for about 4 or 5 years and cannot get a loan to buy 2 little bricks or to buy 2 bits of lumber to say I can start my own little property, which used to be the way of this country. You think that's right? You think on top of that, when you go to the supermarket, because we're talking real fast, you go to the supermarket and you spend $300 on 2 little bags, because that's all you come up with, 2 little bags. You can't get a loan to start your house. What do you expect these young men to do? And people were questioning, why did I develop in my office a program to look at vulnerable and at-risk young men in Barbados? Because they are at risk and we have to focus on them. Does this mean we do them at the detriment of women? No, but we have to understand that our young men are under threat and they are under severe pressure in this society because they are being demasculinized and they're being derailed, disrespect, all over the place. These are the realities. You can't get a loan. That means that you can't build a house. You cannot be a man in your place to build a house for your family. That is a basic thing that men in Barbados do. You look back at your grandfather, you see that's one thing. He left a little house. He always left something. He built that, and sometimes they literally should dig up the foundation that weekend. Bring the boys around, you broke some drinks, you built some, you light a pot outside, and you built that house together. You build one, and when that's done, you move on to the next. I grew up in country, I know about these things. That's how we used to do it. And you will borrow a little something. No, you can't get a loan, you can't borrow nothing, you ain't got the little susus, you ain't got nothing, and you expect not to have some form of social unrest in the country where you are not, as a government, fulfilling the most basic of things that you are supposed to do, which is to care for your people. Correct. That's all you gotta do. Do not thief the money. And she can't sue me for defamation, because I just use a broad term, I call she name. I ain't getting a letter. And you walking about talking a whole lot of rubbish, and you are failing your basic duty, but you gonna get on the TV talking about how you gonna send letters in people's tails when your job is to go and fix the roads. We put you there to fix. And if somebody happened to curse you and say a few little things, you know what? Move on. You are in public life. I'm not saying some people don't cross the line, but for God's sake, the facts were clear. There was a check. It was made out to you. Nobody make up the story. Somebody back in your office, the cabbage check. That's how we know about it, because it went on the inventory. What is there to defame you about? You had the check. For God's sake. Not only did you have the check, the man that gave the check is associated with the ministry that you had. How anybody make up that story? Then made it, that's factual information. And I don't understand. And for you to talk about, oh, you pulled the lioness tail. What lioness? Please. You barely a pussycat. Let me. I did not come here to give trouble tonight. And I have not even gotten to the people. Let me roll these sleeves some more. Because the further the sleeves go up, I guess that's the indication the harder it getting in here. So, and then you have a government that looks at the people in this parish. So I'm going to address some things with this parish. We're going to go wide again. So as a teacher with me, you always indicate, you're supposed to call it, when I did teacher training, it's called it signposting. So you just tell the audience where you're going. You say you meaningfully tell them. So I'm going to deal with some issues here in St. John, and then we're going to go wide again. So you have a government, one that closed down St. John Primary School. Not only did you close down St. John Primary School, you also were so incompetent in managing the lands at Poole, you somehow did not realize that you didn't have the property title deeds to build from. I do not know how you can start a project and not realize that you don't have title deeds to build. I just don't know. This is the same government that pushed down, this is why it's got to walk boat. My wife is always telling me, she said, Ronnie, you know crabs don't get fat if you don't walk boat. This is why it's got to walk boat. This is the same government that pushed down the clubhouse for the Sussex Cricket Ground Club 2 years ago on the account that they was going to build it back. 2 years later, your representative is the Minister of what? Sports. No clubhouse has been rebuilt. The grass as high as my waist. I am 6'4", so I'm a short man. And you are telling me that you care about the people of St. John? You are telling me that you care about the people and the young people of St. John? You are telling me that you care about the people of Barbados? What kind of government does that? And then you go and put a fence around the Upper Garden? You think about this. I want Bajans, right? I want people at home to meditate. What is that? Meditate on my words. I want y'all to listen and understand very carefully. And I'm talking in the direct to camera. I'm talking to the Barbados Labour Party sympathizers. And because at the end of the day, y'all are Barbadians. And the day that we become the government of this country, we gotta take care of y'all too. Because at the end of the day, we have to be a government for all the people of this country. Unlike this government, I will not be going around picking and trying to destroy nobody's lives, because you know what I'm saying, we got things to do. We got a $14.5 billion debt that we got to handle, right? So we have to be a government for all the people of Barbados. So let me put it in perspective. You telling us that you care about the people of this country, but you cannot provide the basics. So let me understand what the failing of the pool project is. The pool project's failure is more than grass and a few rotten houses. The pool project, let me put this in context, because you know I like context. The pool project failure is a failure to provide housing. Get it right. Housing is the most basic of things that you require as a human being to function. Nothing fancy, a house. You got a house to live in. The failure and the closure of St. John's School is a failure in your ability to do what? Educate. Think about these things. These are important. We ain't talking about a failure of a little shop and a little school, housing. The failure of you to provide proper sporting facilities and amenities for young people is a failure to develop the next generation. These are serious things, you know. So you might just see, oh man, is this a pasture, a little bit of grass there growing up? Man, nothing. It is something. It is big. Because what it translates into your inability to function. You ain't got anywhere to live, your children ain't got no school to go to, and if you got them, they ain't got no way to develop themselves recreationally and otherwise. That is your government right now. That's just the reality. That's the Spirit talking. Let me get amen up in here. That is your government right now. That is what you have voted for. But you have the ability to vote for something new and something different. You have the chance to give the refreshed, revived Democratic Labour Party a chance to serve you. You have the ability to give the young people and the young women that you are seeing up here, these will be your servants. You have the ability to give the Amoys, the Tyras, the Karinas, the Melissas of this world, the people that you have spent millions educating, a chance to step forward and do you justice and do you proud. They are not here for window dressing. They are here because you send them school. What do you think you send them school for? You sent them to school so that they could arrive at this position to be of service to country. You have the ability to turn a new leaf. You have the ability to say, Democratic Labour Party, we have punished you, we give you a licks. I, as leader of the Democratic Labour Party, I say sorry for all the hurt that we has caused you in the past, and we will not do it again. am big enough of a man, I tell you I'm a short man, I am big enough to say sorry. Because I understand the word. I am big enough to admit when we are wrong and when I am wrong. As a leader, because I ain't a boss, I am a what? Leader. And we are sorry, Barbadians. I am sorry, Democratic Labour Party family. I am sorry, comrades, for any hurt that we have caused you. I ain't gonna list them, because you know what the hurts are. I am sorry that we left you. I am sorry that we took our eye off the ball. I am sorry, sorry, sorry. But it will not happen again, and I promise in the hallowed halls on this place in St. John with David watching over, it will not happen again, and this Democratic Labour Party will rise. Because this Democratic Labour Party has a chance to break the cycle. We have a chance to break the cycle of corruption. We have a chance to build the new temple. We have a chance to look upon the mountain and look upon Jerusalem and say, that is the city of God. That is the city we are trying to build. We have a chance to walk in the light again, and we can do it. I have full faith in every one of you that we can do this. Will there be setbacks? Of course. Of course there will be setbacks. But every time there's a setback, we're going to walk 10 steps back ahead, forward. We will come back. And given the young women, given the women that surround me, I know that I am held up by angels. And I know and I know that they have a future that is bright, a future that is good for this country. And I know that someday this party will produce its first woman leader and its first female prime minister. The future of the Democratic Labour Party is bright. Because, and I'm going to let you in on something, right? And they're going to differentiate us from them and also explain, I guess, put Ralph's leaving into context. Because as much as I am building the party for the now, I am also building the future Democratic Labour Party. Because I understand that I can be old soon. Well, not well. But give him a little bit. I might not look it. There's just enough cocoa butter, enough water. I understand that I will get old. I am not one of those leaders who think they can go on and on, everything got. No. And if you got your eye on the ball, you will realize that I already future planning. You could see, anybody could see that I'm already building the next generation of Democratic Labour Party leaders, because you have nothing to worry about. This project has to go on. It can't stop. I feel good like, oh yeah, man, you know, after I left the whole thing, man, I can't get. No, that is foolishness. That means that you have failed as a leader. If the project falls apart after you're gone, you were a bad leader. Full stop. Look at the current leadership. Everybody fumbling around. Oh, me gone. Who here? That's an example of bad leadership. You shouldn't be fumbling around. Because when you look down the line, who you going to lead? You want Santia to lead you? Kerry? Lisa? Kay? What? Let me start the new list. Kurt? Ian? Colin Jordan? Oh Lord. Let me be honest. When you start going down the list, who is there? Think about it. If Mayor leads me into the next election, right, and then drop out halfway, which she might do, who we gonna be left with? Think about Tony. An entire cabinet, 10 of them can't met one of the women that speak up here today. Because when you are a leader, you have to future plan. You have to start thinking about your absence in a good way. You gotta think, okay, let me train up people, let me give them opportunities, let me expose them, let me do something. This isn't bringing, throwing you in and say, man, you know, you gotta swim out your fuck. No, you gotta take your time. And any of these young ladies and these young people can attest to it. I just have come because that's the way you got to do this. And they ain't not going to swim by themselves, sir. You have to help and train the next generation. So I want to get into, wait, how long was talking with it? You know, this tell me that I talk on this, I don't believe them, and in my head it is only been 10 minutes. But I want to address the topic and the theme, where the money gone. And in order to address the topic and the theme, I want to walk you through something. It might take a little while, but bear with me. So, and I'm going to start from 2019. Let me start from over there. 2019, Caribbean Development Bank lends US $75 million to Barbados. Then you had in 2021, World Bank approves $100 million to Barbados. 2021 again, European Investment Bank approves $60 million to Barbados. February 2022, $146 million to Barbados. Another $230 million from the China Bank. Then you had another US $150 million from the Inter-American Development Bank in 2022. Then you had another US $290 million in September 2022. December 2022, IDB approves $100 million. March 2022, Barbados gets $190 million from the IDB. And then you have in 2022 again, they get another $40 million from the IADB. Then you have in December, World Bank approves another $200 million. Then you have World Bank in January 2023, $100 million. Then you have the European Investment Bank, $18 million US. The Climate Fund, $1.5 million US. IMF approves another US $113 million. And then they had another US $189 million in 2022. 2023, IADB $150 million. 2023 August, the Caribbean Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, $100 million. And then you have 2023 October, $50 million from the African Bank. Then you had another, let's go down the list, going through the list. Then you had in 2023 another $295 million. Then the European Investment Bank provided another $150 million. January 2024, IADB provides to the tune of $50 million US. And then in February, again, another couple of weeks later, IADB provides another loan for $100 million US. So, where the money gone? That ain't no little bit of money, because Barbados has a debt of $14.5 billion. Part of that billion, you have over $5 billion, which is in foreign debt. $500 million is spent on education, yet St. John ain't got no primary school. The St. John primary school closed. $500 million is spent in education, and some boy fall through the floor in a prefab building at the school that the children were transferred to. $500 million is spent on education, yet then children at St. Matthias can't breathe properly. $500 million is spent on education, yet the kids at law school had the school shut for a week because of environmental problems. $500 million is spent on education yearly, yet the children at Dayton and had the school to go to. $500 million, Lester Vaughan. Where is the money going? But you hiring PR consultants. And then you hire another communication specialist to communicate what? That you are incompetent. What are you communicating? That you cannot get the job done? Because it is very obvious that you have no skills to manage this country.
True.
How do you not adequately deal with education? $500 million. It is the largest portfolio in government of Barbados. You got most incompetent, you mean careless kin? Careless kin and hiding husbands. Because you can't find she. I'm being serious. Now that Sandra is the Minister of Education, you don't hear Sandra anymore. Then they put you there and hide you there. Bless. The only reason she up on the radio today because you can't do better. I don't want to let go state secrets, but they were supposed to send Liz Thompson. I was looking forward to that. But you have a situation where the government has borrowed billions of dollars, yet you cannot see properly functioning schools in Barbados. You have borrowed billions of dollars. You have borrowed money for roads, yet you cannot fix the roads of this country. And let me let you in on a little side thing. So you know when I announced the Millennium Paving Project, right? So I will say this. The first road in the Millennium Paving Project that get fixed was my road. When put us do this kiss and true story. The first first smell of Barbara Green was on my street. I am not joking. Actually, if I remember the minister get him and said, yes, I am doing the roads in St. Peter, and these are the first streets that we start with. So, but I then do my road with a view that I ain't gonna talk about the roads, right? But let me tell you, that ain't gonna stop me from talking about the roads, because the people in the gap opposite me said, Ronnie, but you need to go and talk about the road next to me. Cause listen to what they do. Then do 1, 2, my gap, then miss the one in the middle, and wait till the next one. If people say, well, what did they do? I said, well, I know. But I am here to tell the government of Barbados, the people in Spikestown would like you to come back on Queen Street and look at one of the roads that you missed, please. Because the residents in that area would like the road do because the potholes also killing them. So I would like to say to Minister Bradshaw, if you think that doing my road was the way to shut me up, well, you only let me talk a little bit more and tell people the truth, and you can't do my road first. I appreciate that you do my road. And don't get me wrong, because I was falling through potholes every day. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that you do the road. But there's a more serious point here, and I think it was Tyrone and Moy that alluded to this. The fact is, you are doing the roads, but you're not doing them properly. And in twos, and this is not to indict the good men and women who actually doing the work, because they can only carry orders. How you just going to lay down a half inch of Barbara Green and expect that 2 little rainfalls, because the side's starting to get dig up already, because you've not put any border in, you ain't putting the gutter in, the rain gonna come through there and dig up the road, and by next year or so, we can be back to the same situation, but you spent $30 million talking about you milling and paving and you doing roads because you want people to feel that you're doing something. The same incompetent minister who could not manage the Ministry of Education, now you put her to manage one of the biggest road rehabilitation projects in the country and expect results. You have a minister whose only worth and whose only ability is to fail upwards. Sure. Whole life for failing upwards. A whole cabinet of people that have failed upwards. Because let me be, and this is attacking nobody, I tell people, I talk facts. What has the current Minister of Education or the current Minister for Work, Roadworks, what have they accomplished either in their professional or other spaces that show that they have competence or the ability to represent and deal with the issues of people of Barbados? Nothing. You can't find nothing. But yet, you go to criticize her for her taking or having a check written in her name, and she talking about suing people. Sure. In the tail. You know, Barbados is at, and I'm not going to talk about the cybercrime bill tonight. I will encourage those who have not seen it to go on the Democratic Labour Party's YouTube to watch what, and I'm not just saying this because we did it, it was one of the most thoughtful analysis of the bill that we have seen. It was careful, it made it clear what the bill is, and I will just give a short summary to say that the cybercrime bill, and I want the people who are online, and I can be straight up, right? Because in saying, don't say these things, people are talking foolishness, because I ain't got time for that. I get old, and the older I get, the less patience I have for foolishness, and tolerance for foolishness, because the cybercrime bill will affect your civil liberties and your freedoms. That's fact. So I understand that people talking about how, the bill is there going to protect children and protect vulnerable. Yes, we get all of that. Nobody has ever denied that. And this is why I don't like when people try to wrap up stories in conjecture. Nobody in the Democratic Labour Party never said that the bill is not necessary or the bill is not needed to protect people. Of course, we understand that. But when you look at the bill carefully, what this bill can do and gives the government the ability to do is to literally take away your freedoms. And let me put it in real raw terms. The government can literally knock on your door, demand that you hand over your computer, your phone, call up Flo and tell them to send your phone records, your internet search records to them. They have access and you cannot do a thing about it. Based on the oath of a police officer. Not even a gazetted officer, not even a deputy commissioner, not even a station sergeant, a simple constable. That is the cybercrime bill. These are parts of the bill. So when people out there debating the bill or trying to defend this government, I want you to think carefully about your future. And I want you to remember that someday they may come for you. They might be your friend now, right? And if Mr. Thorne proved anything, they'll come for you. When he was a big member of the party for enough years, and he had to walk away. So that should be an indicator. So when your brother's a big member of the party for enough years, she walked away. She ain't left the parliament, or she ain't crossed, but she walked away. That should tell you something. So they can come for you too. So I want to tell the people of Barbados, because they often say, the Democratic Party, they got solutions. I know. It's getting tired when you see the trolls on the the trolls on the IG and the Facebook, and I just want to tell you briefly, because this is politics at the end of the day. what a Democratic Labour Party government will focus on. A Democratic Labour Party government will focus on the things that matter to you. That means fixing your roads properly. That means providing long-term, sustainable road repair. We ain't coming back to spend $30 million 1 year, then a 30. We literally will not put money in the ground. That means fixing, rehabilitating schools. And build new schools. The people of St. John deserve a new school. That means making sure the polyclinics are functioning. The dental spaces in polyclinics should not be storerooms for boxes. That means making any work. That means understanding that the QH is not fit for a purpose because it was designed for a population that no longer exists. QH was designed when we had sanitation issues, although the various party going to carry back because we can got basic sanitation issues again. If leprosy and dengue, we rolling back the time. That means understanding that you have to make the hospital fit for a purpose when NCDs are now the issues of this country. That means expanding bed space at the QH. Let me ask them why the St. Lucie facility closed up. The whole facility in St. Lucie ain't getting used. You don't got the beds at QH. You build a spanking state-of-the-art facility down there where bed space is. COVID done. And the whole thing down there shut up, rusting and rotting. And we know anybody here who work with medical equipment, so the moment you shut that down, you're not constantly sterilizing anything, it will go to rot. You literally probably got to replace a lot of that. But you got a Minister of Health talking foolishness about, oh, private investors are looking into the St. Lucie facility. Because we foolish. Because he barely got a little heat, so all of a sudden, private investors. Private investors, but put that in context. Our government is all that looking like it privatizing healthcare. Private investors looking into St. Lucie, all the beds down there, QA struggling with bed space. Hence, that's why you spend 5 days in A&E, because the doctors and the nurses are there trying their best, but there are no beds. On the floor. There are no beds, but you got a whole facility down there, empty, and you telling me that you're looking for private investors. And what got me is that it was reported as if that was the biggest and the best thing, when the report should have asked you, wait. How you mean you're looking for private investors and we ain't got the bed space at QH? And we got a whole facility that we pay for. Down there, lock up. You got the St. Joseph Polyclinic just around the corner from here, can't open because they ain't got the staff. You got all of these clinics struggling. Basic machines are not available. People's got to bring their own tools to work with. Teachers has got to bring their own crayons and papers and toilet paper. These are facts. Nobody making up these stories. And what has me, for the first time, and Walter can speak to this at some point, for the first time in a long time, you are seeing strikes emanating from the people in their heart. Because I telling everybody, the Democratic Labour Party, and I'm going to say this slow and I'm going to say it in my most prime ministerial voice. So I'm going to fix it, the shirt. My fellow Barbadians, the Democratic Labour Party is not responsible in any way for any of the strikes happening in Barbados. We are not part of the coordination team in the back room. We have not met with any of the unions to coordinate these strikes in any effort to destabilize the government and the people of Barbados, as was previously done under the last administration. So we ain't got nothing to do with it. Last time, they manufactured all the anger. They was in the background stoking the fire, calling their friends, organizing. I hear about people putting things in toilets, but we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. But all of this happening because this party will never ever try to hurt this country for power. We will not do it. I will not walk up and down the world saying bad things that are not true about Barbados just because I want an office. No. Because when you get to office like that, you know how you're going to lose it? The same way. Because the easy come, easy go. And I hope that she understands the same platitude will apply for her on her exit. Because as I've said to members of this party, and I'm going to say it again, the way that we win government will be important for the way that we will govern. If we win it through slugduggery and through nastiness and through dark tactics and through every bad measure and means, it will mean the outcome will be just the same. Because if you look at this government, the way that they won the government is the way the government is performing. We will win this government because we will rise to the higher occasion and we will walk in the light and we will do it in a good and a godly way because it can be done. Do not let anybody fool you. In politics, you do not have to stoop to the lowest, nastiest common denominator to rise to the top. You rise to the top because you are people and women and men of integrity. That is how you can do it. It's possible. And we will prove that is how you can win. Because when you win that way and when you lead from that place, good things will abound to the people of this country. Because when you win and you lead from that other place, there's only one place to go. There's only one place to go. And we will not go there. Because I like to sleep well at night. And I will not spend nights tossing and turning because I tell one by one thing, like, Lord, I remember what I tell you, and I trying to remember who I texted from and who I got. No, I got energy for that. And I want my child to look at me and look in my face and know that I've done well. And I want good things to befall him and his generation and his generation. So I know that I have to do well. I know that I have to do this differently. And we will do this differently. So I say, in closing, to the people of the Democratic Labour Party, I say to the people of Barbados, I want you to join us. I want you to be part of what we are trying to do. I want you to be assured that we are working hard to rebuild the temple that is the Democratic Labour Party. We are working hard to rebuild it on the basis of transparency and accountability. That is what this new Democratic Labour Party government will be built on. It is that simple. I know you may have heard these things before and this, but I promise you that. And I understand. I understand that you're hurt. I understand that you feel that you've been lied to before. I understand you feel you get tricked. I understand you're like, everybody's promised you things. You realize I promised you none tonight, you know. I tell you factual things that I can do. I promise you no fancy roads. I can fix the roads. I can deal with the schools. I can make sure you got places to live. And I can work to produce a new economy to get some jobs. I am creating no fancy, nothing I can put you on the moon and I can sing to the bottom of the sea and I can build islands and I can bring this and I can bring Zuka here and this and Lakahu. Nothing so. Because I am not here to tell you no lies and make no false promises to you. I will not do it. And if you want to hear that, because it means the sweet nothings that you like, go to the other side. Because you will not get them here. You will get truth, you will get integrity, you will get honesty, you will get a government that will tell you how it is when it is. You will get a government that will be by your side. We will make sure that your children are safe. We will make sure that your family is safe. To the people of St. John, we will make sure that you are not left behind. Different country, I know what it feels like to be left behind. To the people of St. Joseph and St. Andrew, St. Lucy, the forgotten places, the places that Barbarians said, now you're going to need bush. Now there's the bush. You know when you see the little fun maps of Barbados, it's got Bridgetown, and it's got bush, and it's got all around it, just St. Joseph and St. John and St. Anne, St. Lucy's, it's got a little mark, just bush. St. Philip has got centipedes. But I am here to tell the people of Barbados, I am here to tell the people of St. John, St. Andrew, St. Lucy, we will not forget you. We have a plan in progress to develop the communities, to ensure that there are town centers in these spaces so that you can live like decent human beings. How is there only one ATM machine in all of St. John? Jeez, Lord. What kind of mentality? How a whole parish, a whole set of people, because a lot of people is right here, it ain't just bush, a whole set of people, and you're talking about how you want to be a cyber society. You spending time to pass a cyber crime bill. You spending time to develop digital IDs. But the basics, an ATM machine is nothing new. Since the 80s, we had ATMs, you're pushing your little card. You telling us about how we digital and we doing these things. And you won for thousands of people in this parish? One machine? How? How much is on St. Joseph? You can find an ATM machine in St. Joseph? St. Lucy? One. How? And we talking about how is this digital and we future forward and we looking to create a modern Barbados and we will frontally attack the issues. All these stupid, silly buzzwords. Almost just curse yes, no, sorry. All this silliness. But you cannot give the people in St. John an ATM machine, but I'm supposed to trust you to deliver a digital ID. I'm supposed to trust you to give over powers for a cyber crime bill. I'm supposed to trust you with my records that create, but you can't do the most basic things to give me an ATM machine? That's the most basic of digital technology. Literally a box in a wall. You can't get that done, but all these other things, I'm supposed to trust you with. Because who are you answering to for all the other things? You're answering to Bajans. Your people want an ATM machine, though. That's when I talk to them, that's when they tell me. Your people want the grass at College Cavanagh cut, though. They want a playing field. They want to on the fences at Ball Hill. They want to go and start the title deeds at Pool. That's what they want. They may want islands off of Barbados. Because who can go up on these islands? They want a town center in St. John. That is what your people want. So I want you to join the Democratic Labour Party on this journey as we rebuild, as we restore, and as we reclaim our country and our democracy for you, your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, are gone. Yes.
Members, since we last introduced the Charlotte Cabinet, there's one other person who just joined us, Mr. Stephen Newton, who is special envoy to lead the opposition. Members, I encourage you to join other branch meetings and give support. Next Sunday, St. Lucy, St. Clement's Church. The following Sunday is the Lodge Ricky's meeting. So let's spend some time and go and support other branch meetings. Please, we need to follow the party around. I will now ask Mr. Robin Green to do the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, each and everyone. On the behalf of the St. John's branch, I would like to thank you for coming here and listening to the number of speakers that we have heard. The speakers, to my mind, were full of energy and passion. Yes. And they covered quite a number of topics, ranging from roads, education, healthcare, cost of living, and so on. One of the questions that keep cropping up was, where has the money gone? And I would like to extend that question by asking, who is going to pay back the money? I would also like to give the leader some kudos for the energy in which he has also displayed. He has also, I think we will be in a better position for the explanation he has given us on the cybercrime bill. He has also enlightened us about the playing field that we have, which was enclosed. To my mind, the playing field should be a social goods, so that if you're tired or you feel like going to sit down and relax, there should be free entry. And I would therefore like to thank each and every one again that has spoken. And we, as I said, I'm quite sure that we are much better than when you came before. Therefore, in conclusion, let me say thanks again. Yeah.